Did I say, did I open it for questions yet?
No, I know you're late.
Fucking Brad. One. You notice I'm not texting to make you laugh at the other participants. You know, and I should have last night. You know.
I'm confident you would have.
Oh yeah. The last time I was here, I was on another panel, and I spent most of the panel texting people in the audience, including Brad, to make them laugh inappropriately at the other members of the panel. Because these people were like sucking the life out of the room, every word they fucking said. And every so often they'd be, what do you got, Brad?
I was curious about your wife's impression of the illustration. Does she appreciate you've got a lot of illustration on you. Does she dig
No, it doesn't give a shit. No. You'd rather have like, you know, turkeys with her son's hand, though, you know, that kind of stuff.
Our wives have a lot of fun.
No, she just, my wife is she's a retired RN. She's short. It's big. It's like a coffee table size. All right. Anybody have any questions? Anybody have any thoughts? Any objections? Any personal? What? Be it loud. Make it loud. Stand up.
I can make it loud. Sit down.
I don't doubt it. I want these people to see you and judge you.
When you write for other artists,
Yes.
how detailed are your scripts? I don't imagine you do Alan Moore in the lower right-hand corner of the fourth panel.
That's actually a good question. Thank you. I'm not surprised. I'm not saying this to sound enough. I write scripts. I don't deliver pencils. I deliver finished art. So if I'm writing my stuff, I deliver very complete scripts. My scripts, I mean, has anyone read an Alan Moore script? See what they look like? Okay. They're like, you need the patience of a saint and an assumption that you're going to be there for the rest of the day. Okay. I do not write like that because I don't really believe that's my job. My job is to define space narratively. Okay. And so I'm very specific about the size and shape of each panel because that is a part of the narrative. Anecdotally, I delivered the first 5 pages of the script that I'm working on right now for another artist. Can I name it? Okay. I'm working on we just finished a crowdfunder for a book called Fargo Hell on Wheels, which is a historical adventure that sells itself as a Western, but it's actually much more like a pre-World War I action adventure involving railroads and guns and sex and fun. And I'm doing the second book, another book in the series, and I'm writing for Jackson Geist to draw. And those of you who know Jackson Geist from his Marvel days, okay, his more recent stuff will kick your ass. He's fantastic. And I'm very curious to see his reaction visually when he delivers on the pages that I've sent to him first. I gave him a rough version of what I'm doing. I've just rewritten those pages, but they don't change the descriptor or the demands of the characterization in the image. What I ask for is size of panel, favorite, past, use this as a frame. This is what's important in the picture. Full figure, 2-shot, close, medium close, because I believe that a picture has meaning, and how you choose to frame that picture has meaning. And how you choose to organize the elements of that picture has meaning. Many comic book artists don't seem to think that a picture is simply 4 lines put around a drawing, and that's not the case.
So the smaller the panel you do because the reader doesn't need to spend that much time on it?
No, because in comic book, space represents time. The amount of time, the amount of space allotted to an image in a panel is directly, if not, is indirectly, but occasionally directly related to the amount of time involved in the action taken to deliver the action in the panel. I do a lecture called The Paradigm, where I use a 5-panel page as a demonstration of the 5 shots, the 5 ways of organizing a page. You can see it on YouTube. The first one is actually available as a video. And I talk about the use of horizontal shapes. Horizontal spaces are, by nature, lame and boring because they're lying down, they're horizontal. And the job of the artist is to crop and organize that horizontal space in such a way as to make it interesting by diagonals, by where you place your elements, stuff like that. So I'm very, very specific about that. And I also recognize that I've also pointed out any number of times that I work with writers that I'm working with who treat me as if I'm the fucking audience. I'm not the audience. I need to know about Chekhov's gun before it shoots. There are too many writers who write stuff, and then on page 5, there's an aha moment that I'm supposed to have established on page 2. Don't patronize me with that bullshit. A comic book script, in terms of its relationship with the writer, with the artist, is a diagram, a template. And people who think that writing in comics is done by the writer are not paying attention to what comics are. I published an essay some years back called On Comic Book Writing. The writing in comic books is a nearly 50-50 collaboration between the artist and the writer. The writer provides a template of intent. The artist provides a finish of execution. And it's my job, because I do both, and I think I do both reasonably well, that I can criticize both sides. I also recognize the fact that my work is best when it is a synergy of my writing and my work, and my art. Because my work separately in those two distinct issues, I don't really compete, but together, I'm a fucking powerhouse. The work that I produced over the past 30-some odd years, that I've written and drawn, is work of which I'm inordinately proud. And my identification of quality, there's no resemblance to that of the audience, because they don't give a shit about Wolverine. Someone else? Yes, sir. How are you?
Good.
We'll see about that.
Will you be sharing your thoughts on Batman during the Batman at 80 panel later today?
Am I on that panel?
I would really like to hear.
Am I on that panel? They're not stupid enough to put me on that panel. No, they're really not putting me on that. You know, I'm on that. Am I on that panel?
Just show up.
No, I'll phone it in. Oh, hi. Who's on the panel? Who can I call?
Just show up.
Brad, who's on that panel?
Adam
Is
Phillips.
Walter on it? I can call him.
Tom King.
No, I don't want to hurt Tom's feelings. He was young. Who?
Mark Wade.
Mark's not here.
He's not here.
Mark's too busy having COVID. For the first time.
Oh, wow.
Klaus,
Oh, I can make fun of Klaus.
Dan Jergens.
Too easy.
Jim Starlin.
Who? Jim Chung?
Jim Starlin.
Jim Stark. No, again, too easy.
And then hosted by Bob Greenberg.
Not mic drop, ladies and gentlemen. No, you know what?
I'd like
Because,
to live tweeted it somewhere.
no, I don't, well, look, I don't, one of the reasons I would not is that I have a certain empathy for a talent pool whose ambitions must be filtered through a sieve like Batman.
I dig that.
That, by the way, that is the most contemptuous thing I've said all along. And I've been pretty contemptuous.
My main question was, you talked a lot about the panels that you did at Marvel with Bill Sienkiewicz, Klaus Janson. I was wondering if you could talk about, I know you won't necessarily name names, but which students do you have that we would recognize really made it as professionals and used the tools that you gave them during that session? And I'm sure there were a lot that you've seen that have been through that and have just wiped out completely.
You know, it's hard to say because these guys weren't mooks when they came to me. They were all working guys. They were all the guys who were sent to us it was me and Klaus. All the guys who were sent to us were guys who were under contract. And they were all there because the company didn't feel they were living up to the standards that they created. And bear in mind, I had aged out of the company shortly thereafter. So I was basically the perfect example of those who can do, those who can't teach. And I was those who can't. Okay? And most significantly, a good percentage of the guys who were in those first couple split, left, went to Indy, went to DC. The last bunch were so accomplished. The guys I remember that were Vittorio Schiti, Will Sliney, and Mahmoud Asrar. And a couple of other guys whose names slipped my mind. These guys were so head and shoulders whatever we were demanding of them that I said to them, whatever this last assignment is, you can put it away in your hotel room tonight. Let's take a field trip. So we blew out the office and went up north. We visited the Warwick Hotel to see the Dean Cornwell mural. visited the Eastern Airlines building to see the Eastern Beach Coral murals. We went to the St. Regis Hotel to see the Maxfield Parrish paintings. We went to the Society of Illustrators, and President Emeritus, who was in a mood, brought us upstairs and showed us pictures. And there were pictures that had not seen the light of day in 25, 30 years. Rockwell's and Lion Deckers and Foss's and Partners and something. So it's hard for me to identify who took it seriously, who managed to make things of it. There's at least one who I think I would gladly see burst into flames, but he was just a disruptor. I mean, he was there. He didn't want to be there. The company insisted he be there. He didn't need to be there. And I did refer to him in the course of it, shut the fuck up, you Serbian shit weasel. And that was basically about it. And I got a laugh out of Klaus. It was good. But I talked about this with Klaus last night. We were talking about where we came to an understanding of what we were able to teach. And the idea that comics is a static medium, that it's not plastic. And that our job is to freeze a moment and have narrative value. I keep using that phrase, narrative value, for a reason. Because it's something that keeps getting lost. It was certainly thrown over the shoulder in the 1990s by the work that was coming out of those guys who were selling so many billions of books to so many hundreds of people. So what can I say? Sorry, I couldn't give you a more direct answer. Someone else? Come on. Cowards, babies. All right, you two. Start with you.
How is your crowdsourcing with Fargo going?
It's done.
It's done.
We are. The book is finished.
Good experience with the crowdsourcing method?
No, I hated it. I really did. I felt I was very stressed from word one because I don't have a commercial footprint, and I felt that I was being that the work was being chided along in ways that had nothing to do with my value. I don't think I'd love to do it again. I did not like the way it made my stomach feel. I felt beggared. Luckily, I was not involved in the actual day-to-dayness of that. But the blowback to me was I didn't feel worthy. That I wasn't someone that could justify such a process and such an experience. Again, I know how good I am. I have a monstrous ego. I am a font of self-love. I truly am. But I also recognize that doesn't impact on an audience that doesn't care enough about the things I care about. And that's not on them, it's on me. Okay. I've avoided that experience until this time. And now that I've had that experience, I'm glad I avoided it. And I wouldn't do it again. It's just too stressful, and embarrassing. I felt like Willie Loman, in the deck of a salesman.
How's the second?
I didn't die.
Yeah. How's the second book been being handled?
No idea. I'm just along for the ride.
Okay.
It's their problem. Like, let them do that. I'm having a great meeting. I'm 30 pages into the dialogue pass of the second one. Same format, 96 pages. And I told Mike an addition I made to it that I'm really, really smirkily proud about. That, it's fun. And I know Butch will be up for the job. I have no fear of that. I'm dying to see how he interprets what I've given him. But I know whether I agree with it or not, it will have an excellence.
Do you have any books you recommend, really, like this quality or narrative value that you talk about and crave?
Yeah. The first 30 issues of 100 Bullets, which is a reflection of how good an editor Axel Alonso was. The work feels at its best like the work of one person. There's a great synergy between Brian Azzarello and Eduardo Riso. The work is really extraordinary. I also go back a long way back. I think you should track down the Harvey Kurtzman Two Fisted Tales in Frontline Combat. They are short stories, 7 pages per. They are written for an audience that was not yet televisual. It was mostly radio and short story writing. And they're personified by a kind of moral and spiritual detachment from the acts of war. They're not glory. The historical pieces are pretty solid, but the contemporary ones, the ones that are about the Korean War, are extraordinary pieces of work. I also, in a different vein, really like the shock suspense books. Crime suspense is more of a guilty pleasure. It's Johnny Craig. Johnny Craig is a guy who started out as an Eisnerist and evolved into his own style. Craig's wife hounded him out of the comic book business in the early 50s during the Keith Howard Commission because they were being branded as pornographers. We lost an enormous amount of brilliant work from him. He ended up doing clip art in Pennsylvania. But read the shock suspense. So I talked about, we were on a panel last night about comics noir, and I mentioned specifically that when I read Jim Thompson, who was the poet laureate of noir, Wallace Wood's urban decay stuff for shock suspense is how I visualize it. And it's just, I mean, to tell you the truth, I mean, although I don't care about it at all, but I don't care about North Myths, Walter Simonson is probably, along with me, the only guy in my generation who's still producing work consistently that is not a parody of its former self. And it's pretty brilliant work. It really is. But I love Risa. And I'll pat my own back. A book that I wrote and didn't draw, the Twilight book that Garcia Lopez drew. I laid that out. But Garcia forms that creates a world in the future that is nihilistic and convincing. So there you go. We're done. Before I have one last question. Anybody else? Yes? Stand up, please.
This is about workflow.
Yeah.
So I was lucky enough to watch Neil Adams teach some high schoolers about stamina and how he would spend the whole day. He does a full day of drawing and whatnot. I was wondering, how do you spend your day? You're completely busy, it sounds like, all the time, writing and drawing.
Yeah.
How do you keep that going throughout the day?
The first day of that Marvel seminar I mentioned was talking about time management. And because most people who work in comics regard it as an extension of their hobby. And that's just nonsense. Once you take $1, you're an employee. And my day, these days, I get up between 5 and 6 in the morning. I live in a beach town. Everybody's either farming or surfing. I'm up between 5 and 6. Get out. Either I go to the gym or convince myself I don't really have to. Have coffee with colleagues. By 9 o'clock, I'm at my desk, and I have my mission statement ready to go. I don't work for time. I work on mission. This must be done. I committed myself to writing 10 pages of dialogue a day in this script, which means that I don't step away from the computer until those 10 pages are done. But I take very seriously the idea that my time is as valuable to me as it is to the client. And we've had a rough haul over the past couple of months with one of the participants in this last major job we've done. And it's been stress-making. And that has imposed its feelings on actually committing and getting work done. It's distracting. And stress is distracting. But I've also been hampered by the fact that over the past couple of weeks I've lost Mondays because I'm traveling home. I'm flying home tomorrow. So that I get up on Monday morning and I have a day actually commit. And that will mean that I will finish, I'm home for 3 weeks. I will finish the script, deliver it, okay? And then I'll get on to this artwork that I'm doing. But I'm not going to put expectations on myself that I'm not going to meet. You know, I've been doing this long enough that I know how to control the environment of time. I also am blessed by the fact that I have no longer experienced something that was a fairly, if not common, then occasional experience in my first 10, 20 years, was forgetting how to do what I do. Losing a connection, being hand in head. It happened often enough to be aware of it. And it might have been drug related, I have no idea. But I don't have that problem anymore. I'm a sluice. I get down and do it. Neil, I think, had a peculiar version of his own reality. I don't think he worked quite that hard. I'm very much committed to the maintenance of the schedule because I like having, close with this. Half of the people I know at this convention were colleagues of mine went back to their hotel rooms last night and worked. Last night, the show ended at 7. I'm gone. Gotta go. Have some fun. Same thing tonight. I don't, you know, my time management is really important to me. Workflow is the issue. And these guys said that I was teaching with it, speaking to a Marvel, had no understanding of this. They thought I was fucking crazy. And I said, this is how you maintain a career, you know. And it's a difficult thing to explain to people who still think that they're doing the extension of drawing comics in the middle of the night and their mom's cutting board in the middle of the dining room, you know. So, thanks for your attention. I hope I wasn't boring. I really do, because I felt I was a little drony there. And I didn't get clever. I will close, as I always do. Wait, there's more. In the town of Louisville, they got a band they call Big Bad Bill. I want to tell you, he sure was tough, and he certainly did strut stuff. He had folks all scared to death. When they walked by, they held their breath. He was a fighting man, sure enough. Now Bill took himself a wife, and he leads a different life. 'Cause Big Bad Bill is Sweet William now. Married life has changed him somehow. He's the man that they all used to fear. Now the people call him Sweet Papa Willie dear. Stronger than Samson, I declare, till the brown-skinned mama bobbed his hair. Big Bad Bill don't fight anymore. Well, he washes dishes and he mops up the floor. Well, he used to spend his evenings looking for a fight. Now he's got to see his mama every night. Big Bad Bill is Sweet William now.
Fucking sing cat.
Thank you all.
Thank you.